Against My Will, Episode 3. Welcome to America, land of the free. Free to make your choices. You can choose to have a baby, you can choose not to have a baby. Now, if you choose to have a baby, that doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna have the ability to keep the baby. Because, there's things like divorces and large financial contributions from the federal government to eliminate a parent in the opportune moment of your divorce. You see, back in the 90s, the Clintons put through a law which, on the surface, sounds like a pretty good idea. They told the states, if you can collect some child support, we'll kick in some extra funds for you. Now, granted, they wrote the law stealing from our Social Security funds, but we'll let that go by the wayside for the moment. So they have this great incentive program in place to collect child support. And it didn't take the states too long to figure out that they could tap into this money just by eliminating a parent. So, while a divorce looks like a cool 50-50 scenario, it's not too profitable. So the states figured out minimize a parent, maximize profit. And this has been going on for decades. People don't know about it, so they just assume that there's these contentious divorces or heated divorces once in a while. No, it's all driven by money. It's driven by lawyers, driven by judges, driven by federal Title 4D funding. Hundreds of millions of dollars per year to keep children away from a parent. So, your choices, once you've had a child, may be a little bit more limited. You might get to choose between paying child support to an ex and the government, or a whole litany of penalties if you don't, including being stripped of bank accounts and houses and possibly even getting put in prison, which of course will lead to you not being able to find employment, probably bankruptcy, maybe homelessness. But let's keep everything upbeat and happy. So you still have choices. You can pay, you cannot pay. Whether you see your kids is a whole different issue. So a lot of the younger generation have figured this out, and so there's media story over media story talking about how the younger generation, for some reason, isn't having kids. They don't want anything to do with marriage. Why is this? Maybe their parents warned them? So there's always the option of not having kids. It's an option. And one would think that would make you safe from the child support thing. But not so.
He, his wife, and the ex-girlfriend he broke up with 16 years ago all agreed he should get a DNA test, and he did.
Well, the results came in and I'm not the father.
But that's not the end of the case, not even close. Cornejo's ex still wants the money, and so does the state of Texas.
The reality in Memphis is just because you're not the daddy doesn't mean Shelby County Juvenile Court won't make you pay.
I was down there in handcuffs and chains.
Over the years, Edward Bowdery had his driver's license stripped and once even found himself in handcuffs over child support payments for a child that's not his.
By the time he learned about the paternity case, judges told him it was too late. Legally, he owes the state more than $30 grand for assistance paid to care for a child.
I did not father, that I did not biologically create or spend any time with throughout my life. I find that very unfair.
We uncovered it's perfectly legal for the state to order him to pay support for another man's child.
The letter said he owed $8,500 in back child support plus medical expenses for a baby his ex-wife had with another man.
So the court was asking you to pay for a child that's not yours.
Exactly.
So, as I said, you got a whole world of choices out here. You're free to make whatever choice you want, but a lot of the choices are going to lead to the profit of other people at your expense. Have a lovely day.
The lifeblood of the state-run court system is unequal custody scenarios. One of the ways this is achieved is through designating a custodial parent and a non-custodial parent. This simple designation implies less custody for one parent, which creates conflict between the parents and sets the stage for child support. A parent who simply elects to give the other parent money for the children is paying child support. However, the state needs child support to be collected within the system to qualify for federal funding. So the family courts actively do whatever they can to issue support orders where the state plays middleman, collecting support, getting matching funds from the federal government, and passing funds to the custodial parent. Of course, the judge also reaps the benefits being paid by the state. At this point, the state, judge, lawyers, and custodial parent are all profiting from federal child support incentives at the expense of the non-custodial parent and his or her relationship with the children. Higher child support figures mean more money for the state. And an easy way to keep child support figures high is minimizing custody for one of the parents.